was a good video, but I'm just so frustrated with how his life turned out. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, my homies. And today we're gonna be watching a video that I know has been requested for quite some time. For those who are new here and new to the channel, welcome. Join me on my journey to learn more about sports and the history behind it all. I used to be a former Olympian in Taekwondo. So with that all out of the way, let's just jump out into the video and salute to Captain America.
Because of this amazing record, the sporting press has nicknamed Lewis the Brown Bomber.
Before Jackie Robinson or Muhammad Ali, there was Joe Louis.
Okay, Captain America, apparently.
Boxing's Brown Bomber was a champion's champion. Known as the Brown Bomber for his punch and string of knockout victories.
I've seen Captain America, so I understand the Marvel movies. Curious how it ties into this boxer.
So many ways to so many people.
The Brown Bomber.
Brown Bomber. Is it because the gloves were brown?
Heavyweight of all time. It's going to be Joe
Throwing
Louis,
bombs.
the Brown Bomber.
His hands were bombs.
Born in Alabama in
Throwing bombs.
1914, Lewis's parents were sharecroppers.
He was around at a time when this country didn't treat black people properly. Yeah.
There are about 9 million Negroes in our southern states, and the majority of them
Tough
live
times,
on
man.
farms.
Long and blistering days working the fields hardened the young Lewis. His father was committed to an asylum early in Joe's life, so his mother moved the family to Detroit. It was here, at age 15, he discovered boxing. He won the Golden Gloves and turned pro.
People don't realize how many times he fought as an amateur. He fought over 50 times, won a gold glove, and found that area of competence that all kids are looking for.
Lewis fought and won 23 fights in his first year as a pro.
Wow, 1 year,
knocking
23
out
fights.
all but 4.
All right, let's see. Which one's Joe? Oh, maybe that answered the... Yeah, that answered that question, yep.
And down goes Alator.
He was one of the most balanced fighters I ever saw, Ken. Always in position with his footwork.
There's that left hook.
Ooh. Oof, oof.
With the best.
Alator draped on the rope. He's being counted out.
This is a lot of people's top 3.
He gets turned, he just does it like he's breathing. He's a master.
I think he was the best heavyweight that I ever saw in my life.
Joe Louis goes on to win another in his march to the World Heavyweight Championship.
His management came up with the brilliant strategy to grow Lewis's name. He would fight in the hometown of almost all of his opponents, giving the home crowd a chance to see their fighters stop this mythical Brown Bomber.
Smart.
As a result, Lewis set record gates at most every fight he had.
I am the king. I am the
Whoa, look at this guy.
life, and I'm going out to beat Joe Louis.
Turn back the clock to 1930.
Wow, what a face, huh? Joe Louis looks so proper. He looks like nice hair.
Tore through the division. A true first of his kind.
Yeah, there he is. So this was the heaviest hitter, huh?
He never gloated. He never boasted.
Really?
He didn't stand over his defeated foes.
Interesting.
All of this
very
was part
humble.
of the image he knew he needed if he ever hoped to get a title shot.
Okay. That makes sense.
The press treated black fighters as horribly as you'd imagine they would in the 30s.
Boxing writers in particular
This is 30s!
delighted in devising nicknames for the new black prospect.
You see, there had only ever been one black heavyweight champion, Jack Johnson.
Just seconds before
I don't think we've seen him before, yeah?
Cameras and entered the ring to halt this very one-sided fight. Jack Johnson becomes heavyweight champion of the world.
But white America found Johnson offensive.
Johnson had been despised by white America.
He was loud and arrogant.
Gotta suck.
And even dared to have affairs with white women.
Because of this, black boxers were frozen out of title shots for 29 years.
Discrimination was very prominent in those years.
There was almost a conspiracy not to let another black near the championship.
Jack Blackburn really didn't want to train him. Really didn't want to spend any time with him because he didn't think he'd ever get a shot for the title because he's black.
He famously told him, If you ever hope to be champion, you'll need to be twice as good as the competition.
His great trainer, Jack Blackburn. They were a great partnership.
This is Primo Carnera. He was a 6'7", 270-pound former champion.
Down he goes to the straight left.
Yo, it's like Andre the Giant.
He's being counted out.
Well, compared to those small tiny boys.
Shaft died 5 days later.
Carnera was seen as the representative of the Mussolini government.
World War II was just around the corner.
Oh, what a time, man. What a time.
Joe Louis, the sensational brown bomber from Detroit, and ex-heavyweight champion
Jesus, he's
Primo
tall.
Carnera.
Never out of position. And he was a great puncher with either hand. And he didn't waste anything. There was no space.
Let's go. Let's go, Joe.
They were short, concise, explosive.
Down a third time.
Was he that? Is that why he's called Captain America? Because of his image? He was like the good boy. He was like the American dream.
Lewis's victory over Mussolini's giant elevated him in the American public's eye.
He was the only black man that was portrayed in newspaper articles
Wow.
other than crimes.
Joe Louis was respected by everyone in the world. I mean, he was loved.
He was
The
an
national
idol
pride was
of
big.
Black America. Proof that if given a real chance, they could compete and they could win.
Whenever he fought, the streets were empty. Now, the minute the fight was over, you'd see hundreds of guys, and we would imagine it better than we ever saw it.
Max
What a
Baer
time, huh?
was known as one of the hardest right-hand punchers in the history of the game. He was a former champion and a seasoned veteran.
I'm not making any prediction what round will knock Max Baer out in, but I'm going to knock him out just as soon as possible.
In the midst of the depression,
Proper trash talk.
Joe
Humble.
Lewis versus Max Baer
How Captain
sold
America
out
would do
Yankee
it.
Stadium and cleared the first $1 million gate in over a decade.
Oh, I thought he was the turning point.
Dude, the
in
crowds
boxing.
are always crazy cool.
There was a moment in time when a fighter threw punches that you didn't see and the other man fell. And then we knew it.
That's like Sugar Ray.
Joe Louis, a
The
very,
ghost punch.
very economical mover, wastes very little, very hard puncher too.
Wow. Oh, man.
A true practitioner of the sweet science.
And he's gone down now from a right to the chin. Slow motion fall.
No
there for
gloating.
Maxi Baer.
Just a salute to America.
He was the greatest finisher maybe of all time in the heavyweight division. Not maybe, he was. He got you hurt. He got rid of you. He got you out of here. You didn't get a second chance.
Were the gloves
Joe
different?
Lewis dropped him 4 times in 4 rounds.
A fourth round winner
Wow.
by knockout, impressively, over Maxi Baer. Didn't he do well?
Wow, so interesting.
Pressure was mounting. to
He doesn't
grant
look
Lewis
like he's
title
a strong
shot.
fighter, but wow.
But there were many who still could not accept a black fighter. He was passed over again and
Oh,
again.
what trash times, man.
21-year-old Joe Louis, the overnight
See, he doesn't seem like a heavyweight, like a traditional heavyweight, like
Lewis
big.
fought everyone who
But
was
his
out
punches
there.
say otherwise.
It's not Lewis's fault that he was so much better than they were.
Lewis was a devastating counterpuncher.
Powerful.
Wow, with just a jab? Yo, from there? Okay, yo, what? No way. He's also like the most polite boxer I've seen so far.
He stalked the guy.
Wow.
He was
Whoa,
calm,
whoa,
his
whoa. He's
demeanor,
good.
Real calm all the time to the body, to the head.
Yeah, he seems so calm.
Boy, oh boy.
And then he just jogs back like it's nothing. Like he didn't put someone on his ass.
And unquestionable character outside of it made Joe the first black sports superstar in the world. Just one more hurdle lingered before they'd have to give Lewis his title shot.
Amazing.
Max Schmeling.
Schmeling was a hell of a fighter. Joe Louis was the brown bomber. He was coming up. He was undefeated.
Schmeling had
The
studied
brown
film
bomber.
of
I love
Lewis,
that nick.
a privilege not afforded to most fighters in this era.
The great famous saying from that fight, again, before the fight, where Schmeling, a German fighter, said, "I see something."
Max, from watching Joe Louis and pictures in action, have you discovered any particular weakness in the brown bomber? Yes, I did, but I won't tell.
Was that when
but he won't tell.
His jab, he brought it back.
AK, you don't.
That happened all the time. He was always doing that, but no one else was able to take advantage of it because Louis was so fast.
What made Joe Louis
what he saw was that
so much better than everyone, other than the punching?
And he would leave. You should never leave your head on the right side.
Oh.
He noticed a flaw in the brown bomber's style.
What flaw?
Schmeling had noticed that he was vulnerable to right hands.
Schmeling was precisely the type of skilled and crafty veteran.
Interesting.
Who could exploit it.
Interesting. Okay.
He was a great fighter, and he was a real good puncher. Accurate puncher, and he took advantage of that.
Ooh, Joe gets dropped. Joe gets dropped. Okay. Yo, come on. This can't be Joe's story. Come on. Come on, dude.
A dynamite right, and Louis goes down. He puts a temporary halt to the meteoric rise of the brown bomber Joe Louis.
The Louis defeat made
damn.
Max Schmeling next in line for a title shot.
Oh, man. So he actually did know. But in boxing, anyone can beat anybody.
The Brown Bomber
They
won his
can't
first
stay
28
undefeated
fights
forever.
before being knocked out by Max Schmeling, a former world heavyweight champion from West Germany.
Now here's something funny. Joe Louis was continuously passed over for title shots because he was a black fighter.
Okay.
However, Max Schmeling was viewed as Hitler's poster boy.
One of the fears was that Schmeling would win the title from James J. Braddock, take the belt home to Nazi Germany, and nobody would see it again.
So America was stuck between a rock and a hard place. A title fight between Joe Louis and Jim Braddock was made, passing over Max Schmeling. Though Louis had to sign away 10% of all his future purses to Braddock.
Braddock's manager basically made Louis agree to give him a percentage of his purses for the rest of his career to get the fight.
What?
Yeah, but there was an understanding that, you know, you're not getting a fight otherwise.
For the first time in 29 years, a black fighter would get a shot at the heavyweight title.
That is the most unfair contracts I've heard. What a dumb time period.
Heavyweight champion of the world. We'll soon know.
There were history of black families, you know, poor black families that would get hope from just saying, hey, Louis did it. I don't want to hear that you can't do this. Joe Louis did it.
A challenger
Yeah, that's good.
from Detroit,
I like that.
Joe Louis.
Wow.
And so he was that important. That's the only point I'm making here. He was that freaking important that what they fought, what they did, what they overcame, where they came from. When you talk about
100%.
all the things that we're here to talk about character, about talent, about perseverance, about resiliency, about caring about more than yourself.
Hells yeah.
About strength. When you
Preach
talk
it.
about all those things that we try to say that we care about, he was all that.
Sacrifice his purse for the future. Amazing. I love stories like that, man. Wow. So he kind of changed boxing in a way, huh?
The Bomber had captured the heavyweight title. He was champion at last.
A living legend, the heavyweight champion of the world.
He becomes an icon, man. Everyone's hero. Captain America. Okay.
The most powerful.
That when he gets Captain America?
The strongest individual in the world. A black man was once again the heavyweight champion of the world.
In the black community, he was more than a hero. He was the shining example of overcoming the odds.
Joe Louis wears the crown of all the heavyweights, despite the arguments as to whether he is the real champion or not.
Yeah, he wins the title. And of course, the biggest sport in the country. So all the press is there, and Joe, you're the champion world. Not yet. Not till I beat that man. He didn't even have to say his name.
That man was Max Schmeling. Joe refused to call himself a champion until he avenged his only defeat.
I love it. Oh, man. See? This is sick. This is dope stories. I love these stories.
Lewis secluded himself into training. He knew, as did everyone else, that this fight was the most important of his life. Viewed as a battle of nations.
Wow, he's training in front of all those people?
Ideas.
Wow.
Boxing is war individualized.
There's no way. Everyone's just watching him train, dude.
Man against man.
The heavyweight championship, its meaning was transcending pure supremacy in the ring.
Wow.
Its meaning was really that of a world beater.
German troops marched into Austria for what the Germans called the reunification of the two countries.
Everybody recognized what Schmeling represented.
The stage is set for their historic rematch.
Wow, no wonder he's called Captain America, man.
More than sport.
The hero.
War was coming.
On the verge of World War II, with Hitler, a madman, trying to create a master race, take over the world. I mean, the whole world's watching.
Hells yeah, and take him down.
Talk about pressure. That's why Lewis is the greatest.
Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure,
New
man.
York City.
If he didn't win this world title fight against Max Schmeling, he was ruined.
And it's in Yankee Stadium outdoors. I mean, you talk about a setting, a stage.
The eyes of the world would watch the clash. The gate was the biggest ever for a boxing match.
The whole freaking world's watching. The President of the United States calls up Lewis and says, you got a witness for the good guys. I mean, you talk about pressure.
For the good guys, yeah, dude.
Carried the hopes of the free world.
This is literally the Captain America movie. Red Skull versus Captain America.
The largest audience
Holy
in the history
Angelina
for a single
Jolie.
radio broadcast tuned in.
U.S. against Germany, black guy against a white guy. You couldn't draw more divisive lines at those times.
It was a watershed moment that transcended sport.
That he's got to save basically the United States and the world from scourge and
even the white people have to cheer him on too. That must suck for them, huh? They're like, oh my god, I guess win. That's it.
One night,
the Brown Bomber
had united the free world under a single cause.
Go.
Crushing right explodes off.
Drop those Bambi legs, baby.
Joe steps back.
And Schmeling was in fear right from the beginning.
Nice.
He realized that this is something else, a different cut of cat.
How does he respond to it? He destroys him. He annihilates him. He knocks him out in one round.
One round. Let's go. Let's go.
That to me is one of the best stories of a heavyweight fight.
Schmeling fell victim to the Brown Bombers blitzkrieg.
I think that's the greatest single event in the history of the world.
I think so, man. That's a lot of pressure. Go in there to be that focused. One round. Knocks them out. No decision. No judges. Beautifully done. Beautifully done.
Lewis's victory electrified the country.
Amazing. Wow. I'm getting goosebumps, man. That's crazy.
And Joe Louis and Benny Leonard, they were fighters. They let people know they had value, that their race had value, their people had value.
Wow.
They had value. They pulled people out of those places.
It was the most uniting force I've ever seen in my life.
He began his historic run of 25 straight title defenses, 22 by way of knockout.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. The White House has just announced that the Japanese are attacking military and naval establishments on the island of Oahu.
In 1942, with America firmly involved in World War II, he enlisted in the Army.
I'm only doing what any red-blood American would do.
During the war years, Joe Louis fought some 96 fights all over the world. It was said that some 5 million servicemen had a chance to see the champion box.
And that boxing match should have just ended the World War II. Come on, man.
When he staged
How could Germany be more superior?
I'm not fighting for nothing. I'm fighting for my country.
He frequently donated his entire purse to the Army or Navy Emergency Relief Fund.
After the 10% robbery,
kindness that would haunt him.
Here we are in Madison Square Garden for the Joe Louis Abe Simon Heavyweight Championship bout. Private Joe Louis Farrer reports for duty. Duty in this case means that he is defending his $1 million World's Heavyweight Championship and donating his entire purse to the Army Emergency Relief.
Oh, dude, okay.
Joe's mad now.
There's not enough frames in this video to capture that hit, man. His face just teleported after getting hit from here to here.
It was not on just one occasion that when a loved one died, Joe would pick up the funeral expenses for a fellow serviceman.
Here it comes now.
Wow, what a time, huh?
Wow. Joe Louis is an incredible fighter and individual.
A great soldier, a great champion, and a great man.
There's Joe Louis, once again, his hand raised in triumph.
Never before and probably never again has a champion donated his entire purse, in this instance around $70,000, in the bright and brave cause of patriotism.
The IRS would come at Louis years later, saying he owed millions on these donations. Louis would suffer financial ruin from this for the remainder of his life.
To this World Heavyweight Championship for the benefit of the Navy Relief Fund.
Like, what a time in the world to do this. Well, like, why?
Sacrificing so much to be an example for the country.
And just to get...
He's ultimately left penniless as a result.
And he's gone over. Billy Conn on the floor in round 13.
And the world just sucks sometimes, you know?
I'm not waiting for nothing. I'm waiting for my country, and I think that's about the greatest piece of work that anybody can do.
The heavyweight king, Joe
I hate stories like this, man.
Joe Louis was an authentic
You can never do
hero,
good.
as opposed to a surplus hero.
In all, Louis spent 17 years in the ring, 12
Never do good and get rewarded, man.
Now it's Joe Louis, the Brown.
That's why we live in a world of corruption. Holy.
The war was over.
Being good doesn't win.
Germany have surrendered.
Louis had now been champion 10 years. Father Time is undefeated, and many were speculating when it would come for Louis.
Between the champion, Joe Louis, and his challenger, Jersey Joe Walcott.
The super fight brought out all the celebrities.
And from Hollywood, Jack Benny and Bob Hope.
Does he still keep donating at this time?
Joan Blondell and producer Mike Todd. And FBI chief J. Edgar
So
Hoover.
angry, man.
Boom, perfect timing.
For the heavyweight championship of the world.
Those Mike Tyson
Champion
inserts.
Joe Louis in the black trunks. Challenger Jersey Joe Walcott in the white trunks.
Win, lose, or draw, Louis had stated his intent to retire following this fight.
Walcott is out in front. He's knocked Joe Louis down. And the crowd, the big crowd there at Yankee Stadium now is really on the edge of their seat.
He's good. Get him back in. Get him back in.
Ahead on points.
Come on.
Watch Joe Louis, the devastating
Finish strong.
Joe Louis of old. Raving punches.
Ooh, the bomber. There it is. There it is. Good end. Good end. Good end. Good end.
Motion, here is the champion in all his fighting fury.
Louis delivered the perfect combination and put Jersey Joe down for the count.
He's in real trouble though, and the fight is over. In Joe Louis' 25th title defense, he looks like the great champion of old.
He had now
Looks still
defended his
defeated.
title 25 times, an unmatched record that stands to this day.
Is the retirement of Joe Louis, for 11 years heavyweight champion of the world. He has defended the championship 25 times since winning it from Jimmy Braddock in 1937.
It started when he donated 2 purses, one to the Navy and the Army Relief Fund, and they wrote the checks to Joe Louis. And he immediately signed the checks to the Navy and the Army Relief Fund. But because they were made payable to Joe Louis, they wanted him to pay taxes on it. Could the IRS have made an exception? Yes. Could they have interpreted differently? Yes.
After 2 years in retirement, Louis was faced with massive financial problems.
You're away for 2 years.
I was 2 years, yeah.
And
the income tax has also something to do with me coming back too.
Yeah, we know that.
It was a good
So
payday.
dumb.
The Brown Bomber was desperate, and so he returned.
Winner by unanimous decision.
And greed, man.
Heavyweight champion of the world,
Greed in people's hearts are just...
He fought and lost by decision to Ezzard Charles, but his financial problems still lingered. And so he accepted the biggest payday he could find against an up-and-coming Rocky Marciano.
Marciano, why is that? That name sounds familiar. Rocky Marciano. Is he the...
3 inches on Marciano in height and 9 inches in reach.
He had no subtlety. He had a Susie Q.
Who portrayed him again?
The greatest right hand in the history of boxing.
Marciano's right is his most damaging weapon.
And Joe Louis said, he doesn't really fight by the book, but I got hit by a library tonight.
A library?
His arms are unusually short for a heavyweight, but he's strong and he's powerful.
You can compare him to a street fighter with a huge heart, and he never lost.
His career finally came to an end when he met Rocky Marciano in 1951. Marciano knocked him up in the 8th round.
Marciano's hard left hook.
He should have retired, man. You're just...
It was immediately clear that Marciano's power was too much for Lewis.
Now watch. A left. Another left crumples Lewis.
Robert De Niro. Did Robert De Niro play this guy? No.
Marciano was known
Marciano.
having unbelievable strength in his punches like he did just.
Did he fight Sugar Ray? Oh, come on. Don't do that to Joe. Oh, man.
Rocky Marciano had something that you can't teach people.
Which is just brutal strength.
Brutal power. He just had the ability to land these bone-crushing shots.
The fight would be a passing of the torch moment from one legendary champion to the next.
Rocky Marciano. I don't know why. He sounds familiar, but I can't put my finger on it.
His career that way. I think at that moment it might have influenced me in retiring maybe a year before.
Oh, then I'm wrong.
A tragic and sad ending to the career of perhaps the greatest of all time. He would spend the rest of his life doing everything possible to repay the debt, including participating in a wrestling match for $100,000.
Washington, the Bomber takes on Cowboy Rocky Lee, 320 pounds. After 10 minutes of tugging, hauling, and poking, a right forearm smash sends Lee out of the ring.
That's just so sad to hear.
Despite this final
you give
payday,
back, you give, and the
was
world just
still
takes from you.
in debt.
Your own country
Couldn't
takes.
catch up to the IRS, who were charging him $50,000 a year in interest alone. He ultimately found a home at Caesar's Palace in Vegas.
How long have you been working here at Caesar's as a greeter?
7 years. Where he lived and worked until he died
So sad.
at age 66.
Today, America lost one of the finest boxers.
Now what is the IRS going to do? Come after his family?
Failure today in Las Vegas. He was 66 years old.
An emotional service in memory of the former heavyweight boxing champion Joe Louis, who died of a heart attack last Sunday.
He was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery with full military honors.
Former heavyweight champions Jersey Joe Walcott,
Muhammad
Joe
Ali.
Frazier, Muhammad Ali all came to Arlington Cemetery yesterday to pay their last respects to Joe Louis, who may have been the greatest heavyweight of them all. He was buried to the words of the New Testament. I have fought the good fight.
And he just kept fighting. Hopefully he can rest. Good on you, Joe
Called by
Louis.
many the greatest ever. He broke down numerous glass ceilings.
Joe Louis!
Yeah,
and
he's
inspired the next generation of Black Americans,
sacrificed his own self.
paving the way for the likes of Robinson and Ali.
Good job, man.
I think that people would say
Good
that
job.
because there was a Joe Louis, there's a Jackie Robinson in baseball.
And Joe Louis, the sensational young heavyweight from Detroit. They call him the Brown Bomber. For a record 25 world heavyweight title defense, Joe Louis becomes a legend in his own time.
Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber.
The real Captain America. And we wonder why we don't want to do good in the world. We wonder why there's corruption all over. We wonder why the people with the biggest greed are always on top.
Joe Louis will be remembered for not only his record,
Nothing's
his
changed.
Fights, but as a
Same.
man.
Same back then, same now.
brings it home like Joe.
Wow.
Nobody.
That was a good video, but I'm just so frustrated with how his life turned out. I mean, props to Joseph Vincent and the Board Film Productions. You guys really highlighted his career and showed his journey as you always do. Really big props to that. Make sure you guys like their video and subscribe to that channel. They do great work. It's just annoying to know that you can do so much good. You can give and give and give. And some people just don't mind taking it all. I'm just really annoyed with how it ended. And I feel bad for him. He sacrificed himself for the next generation, basically. He broke all those ceilings. He let people go through. He showed with his character, his donations, his goodwill. So, Joe Louis, I hope you're resting. Good on you. You're a good man. It just sucks that it always has to turn out this way. It just gets annoying, you know, especially in today's world. You always see people wanting to give, doing something good like Mr. Beast, and they always have something negative to say. I appreciate your guys' requests and letting me know about Joe Louis. It's been popping up in the comment section quite a lot. So I'm really glad to finally have seen it. I hope it was worth the wait. I will try to do my best to get through it all. But that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers for now. Peace.